Computer. Lights.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. So here we are, kind of tootling along. Yesterday, we did some work with sort of a tangential concept, but today we're going to go back to working on Bellatrix Rising, kind of doing a little bit of organizing here, trying to kind of get a grasp of where we are with things because everything is just all over the place. So that's what I'm doing at this moment. Heading into the prologue, looking at where we are. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's the second day of the week. Because that's totally where it comes from. So, okay. Here we go. We are over here just kind of sorting through things and looking at where we are in the grand scheme of things. You have a hostage situation with your paycheck, or is it me that's holding your paycheck hostage? Because I could be. It could be me. I just don't know it. I do have a phaser. I could hold your paycheck at phaser point. I don't know if that'd make you feel better. Might not. Probably won't. Okay. What we've got is in this early prototype folder, I have all the pages that are done so far of Bellatrix Rising. I probably should move this early prototype folder out because it's got a number of pages that are done, but they're not. They're at various stages of ready. I've noticed that we have made 4 pages of 2 of the. You're working on releasing your paycheck day by day. Still think I'm not quite clear, but I think I'm following somewhat. Sounds like you're having a problem with your employer giving you a paycheck, has not, in fact, me giving you a paycheck, which is good because I don't know what paycheck you need. So, it's kind of one of those. Um, all right, page 5 is kind of what I want to work on today. By the way, I did this picture. I don't know what I'm going to use this picture for. I just have a picture, a random picture of Cochrane and Bennett. And we don't know why we have a random picture of Cochrane and Bennett, but we do. They look unimpressed by you. Maybe that's what I'll use it for, is they'll be they are not impressed by you. Sort of. It's kind of like the Picard and Riker sitting there and kind of, and Picard's telling jokes and stuff like that meme. Maybe that's what this is. And make it a cell. You're like, I'm into this plan. Okay. We're going to work on 5 at some point here. Did it load 5? It loaded 5. Okay, good. We're going to load 5 at some point. However, I'm not opposed to what you just said. So let's go do that real quick. Go into the design, go to characters. grab Chang's character codes. Those aren't the right character codes, are they? Is this everybody's character codes? Here's all the character codes. Open with Clip Studio. Cells. Gotcha. Cells by the seashells, by the I don't know. There's something. I'm headed somewhere. I just don't know where. Okay. Let's real quickly take this layer, duplicate the layer, put it there, and we're going to just, well, that filled the entire thing, did it now? Nope. There we go. Huh? Huh? I'm kind of doing the did I seal anything up moment here. I'm like, wow, it just totally didn't. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was thinking I wasn't going to ultimately do this. So her hand over here is not sealed. I know because I saw it do the fill her hand up too thing. Grumble. Okay. Alrighty. Doing that. Click. Right in there. Oh. I'm back to it. Click. There we go. Come in here. Making sure we have all the right pieces of that's not sealed up either. Boy, I'm just really into not sealing stuff up, am I? Aren't I? Let's go in here and it's not the seal of approval. See, Brent, you're not Donald. That's actually not true. That is funny. All right. Like, why are we? There we go. All righty. I just hooked up my computer, not you. Never mind. PC to my phone, and entertainingly that means that now I can reply to texts on my PC, which I find fascinating and eminently weird, as all good technology should be. All right. We got that far. Now we can go over here and snag this color and go like that, and that, and that, and that, and that. I still think that's a very pretty color combination. I just like that color combination. And for Bennett, she's in purple. So you I had to think about this. You. Right? Right. Okay. And then you, and you, and you, and you, and you. There's no way to get in there. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. There. Whew. You, and you, and you. Yeah. All right. Back to color codes. Angie's skin is this color, which never turns out nice. I've noticed when printed, just noticing that it is way light. She is very, very light. But it's okay. Then we'll go back to color code. Angie's hair is this color in the back. Bork. Bork. And this color in the front. Bork. Probably Bork, to be fair. There. And guess music is playing. It's like, is the music playing? Maybe no. And then we will grab the life support color. Really? Boom, 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 boom. And though it is a welcome to technology, it's still kind of one of those, huh? But it is nice to be able to do those things. The big reason I did it was because I really needed to have um, my access to my photographs. I take a photograph on my phone, and it would take 2 or 3 days for it to filter through and show up on my OneDrive. And I don't know why it took so long. I have no idea, but it did. So now it's much nicer and instant. I have instant access to my phone, and that makes it a whole lot nicer. We need you for all of these things. Bork, bork. Bork, bork, bork. Then we need the gold for all the trim. Even though that's light blue. That's light blue. I don't know why I did that gold, but that's all right. We'll come back and get it. Because it really should be this color. Because the service patches are that color. That's the way it is. Okay. And there's this color for the scar. And her eyes are brown and blue. Brown and blue. Nope, I did them reversed. I thought so. Seems like her normal eye color was brown. Her replaced eye is blue. Both of Chang Li's eyes are darker brown. So So, it's interesting you would say that. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a story, my friend. Let me tell you a story. Because right over here in Storyland, we have this test cell right here. This test cell was done using sparkly paint. And it's very hard to see. But I sparkly painted all the orange pieces. And so I tried to get it to work, but the truth is nothing really sparkled. Like the orange and the silver, like right here in this section right here and up along there, all of those are sparkle paints. And they really just it didn't work. It didn't work like I wanted it to. And though, so there's your story time for the day. I thought about that. Seriously considered it. I thought that it would be a good idea, but I'm not. Oh, hey, Ghost Hand. Yes, welcome to my newest invention. Over here. And that is making effectively animation cells. There we go. There we go. So it's actually kind of a cool effect. You can kind of see me through it. Hi. But yeah, this is what I'm selling now at conventions. If the camera will stay. But yeah, that's what we're doing now. We're selling these guys at conventions. I have a number of them that are in here. I've got like the cool parts when I can do two cells, right? So we can do two of them stacked on top of one another, and we can get Pikachu versus Stitch. But yeah, we've been working on that for a couple of weeks now, and that's what Brent is implying there. Well, thank you. I'm actually really excited about that. I sold one, but that's okay. But this is my new way of doing all of my new, like when I do prints and stuff like that. I'm not doing prints anymore in the natural, on a piece of paper. That's not true. I will still do those, but the level up now is to do them on cells like that. So that's what Brent is trying to get me to do here with this guy, is make it into a cell, which is not a bad idea. Although I actually was reading a little bit this morning about Will Wheaton having an argument with somebody online, and he ended up in Facebook jail for it. And so I was thinking maybe what I would do is just have it, rather than argue, just have a picture like this, where it's like, this is the hill you wanted to die on, because it seemed like what he was having a problem with was this guy was very mad about tacos, and it was kind of like, literally, this is the hill you chose to die on. And so apparently that was in fact the hill that this guy wished to die on. And so I thought about it, and I was like, I should have something where I could write, this is the hill you wanted to die on. Like, it's ridiculous. I should give her brow or her black eyebrows, because she has very thick black eyebrows. Okay, cool. The next thing we need to do real quick is sclera. And that's this in color mode, please. So I'll go in here real quick. keep removing this song from our playlist, and then I keep redoing the playlist, and it keeps coming back. And I keep forgetting that I don't like this song because it just repeats over and over and over and over and over and over and drives me absolutely crazy. Anyway, so I was reaching out to a buddy of mine whom I haven't heard from for a long time. A friend of mine who lives in the UK was a Tamerlan fan, so he followed Tamerlan a lot, and I haven't really heard from him for a few years. I know he wasn't doing very good at one point in time. He was very unhealthy and not doing well. He was part of the RAF for a while, and I don't think he came out of the service doing so well. So he was a good buddy of mine, and I haven't heard from him, and he was a patron for a while there. So I emailed him earlier today, and I'll see whether I hear from him. Maybe she wants to ask you on a date. How do you know? I mean, you'll have to see. She may want to go on a date with you, Ghost Aunt. I'm just saying. I find it funny that the sort of look is kind of the same as the really. Like the super, super annoyed and super lustful are both sort of the same. I find that funny because you're not wrong. you got a solid point. I just get a kick out of the fact that it's the same sort of look, And who knows? Maybe Captain likes you. She might. You never know. I don't think she likes cold temperatures. She might like it down there where it's warmer. Hang out with you. All kinds of stuff. There we go. All right. Do. Okay, we're going to try. So we were talking earlier about the idea of purple being a shadow and red being a highlight. And I actually found that if I made a red shadow, it actually does look good. The purple shadows never looked right for me, and that's why I kept going back to black shadows. But taking like this orange right here and then running it down to, like here or so, some more of a brown going over into the red, kind of tapping in like that. If I were to go in here and hit multiply and bring that down to 33 like we usually do, it actually looks pretty solid and looks pretty nice. Doesn't look bad at all. Which I kind of was amazed to find out. It's kind of we've been going with black for so long on this. And I've had a lot of people tell me, don't use black on these things because you don't want to shadow in black. So it's interesting because red actually does not look bad. and it gives warmth when you put it on the face, which is important. Or when when you put it on the face like that, it gives a warm color. So it's more like a rose or something like that, and less of a. I'm just kind of going through here. It was Facebook, so I'm not going to mess with it at this point. But it gives a lot more warmth to the picture, which I like a lot better. I'll go back and kind of clean this up with the eraser in a minute. What I have discovered is easier to do is to go in here and just make a mess. And then come back and cut in with the eraser. I find that to be a much easier task. Just kind of going through here, cleaning it up. And whether we use this for a cell or whether we use it, although, I mean, Ghost Hand seems to think she's got some, Chang has some. I was earlier today sorting all of the Tamerlane comics. Somebody was talking to me and saying, hey, how much Tamerlane do you have? Have you archived it? Yada, yada, yada. And I realized I really just don't know how much Tamerlane I have. I don't know whether I've archived it. So I was trying to figure out what the heck I've done with Tamerlane. So we were out with Tamerlane this morning trying to sort things. So I'm having a little bit of my sort of aphasia since Cochrane and Chang are pretty much the same critter. And definitely Bennett is the same person from my comic book, other comic. So literally moved over, complete with her scar, which she didn't actually have in the other comic. That's a modification that came along in this version. I went on ahead and kind of roughed her up a little bit more. So that's why we're having some minor issues remembering who's Cochrane and who's Chang, and that's all. Man, there's a lot of chatter all of a sudden going on out there. Also, my tech manuals that were supposed to be in yesterday are still not in. So the lesson here is if I need to make it hurry, I need to make it hurry. So that's where we are. Because we can't trust that the mail will get it here in time. So we just have to kind of do our best. It's kind of a bummer. I was hoping that, because it says 4 to 5 days, and we're on 6 or 7 at this point in time, which is fine. Yep. Okay. Ah. Huh. So let's see here. Just going through here and cleaning up this here to give just a little bit more through here, like so, and more like so. Just kind of getting sort of the thing going here, kind of coloring her in like so. All right. Now Miss Lustful Eyes here. And this is another one of those things where it's always interesting because to me, she looks annoyed. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with the interpretation. I just find it funny that, not funny, intriguing, interesting that people can read a different emotion. Maybe slightly concerning, or maybe they're just the same emotion or the same look on her face. Maybe her face just looks the same. I just filled the whole thing, didn't I? Yep, I can already tell. If you didn't do this, then you can do that. Really need to. I think I need to change nibs, is what I think I need to do on this. So, there we go. So, there we go with that. And we'll just come through here and just kind of do this. I really feel like when I say I want to change nibs, I feel like I've got scrapes kind of going with the nibs there. So there, kind of coming along like so. I probably should go on under her hair here because her hair does drape over the top of this, but I give an opening for the back. There we go. There, like so. Do, 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 do. I like also that when I use a red for the shadow, I get sort of a nice effect on the gold. You know what I mean? Like the gold looks solid, and it looks warmer. It warms up the gold and makes it look reflective to some degree. There we go. Uh huh. There we go. Kind of going in here. And we can kind of go under here, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill this whole area is what I should probably do. Just work, like so. Work. Excuse me. Seem to have developed a slight cough, which actually I think has more to do with medication, random medications, than it does anything else. Or plausibly the weird weather we're having, because it's warm, then it's cold, then it's warm, then it's cold, then it's, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just so weird that the weather is just, it's not sure what it wants to do. It was snowing yesterday, and today it's windy, and I don't know. Not even really sure what it's after as far as weather goes. There we go. Bring in some color there like that. Let's kind of do this and come around the bottom of her chin like so. And then we'll like that and like that. And maybe I'll hit the bottom of her nose like so. There. There we go. And at least we have some shadow on them there. And then we'll do another layer. And this time I will do overlay. And we'll keep it at 100%. But this is going to be white. And we'll just come along here and just kind of do. Right. Come in and paint. Is overlay not working? Is it screen? Is that what I need? No, it's overlay. What's the story? Right? There should be all kinds of stuff going on here. Oh, I'm on eraser. Honey! We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be here. Have a good evening. It's good to see you for a minute or two. And whether we like it or not, white looks really nice over here on the highlight side. I'm gonna try to kind of hit the highlights in the back, so it's like they're kind of backlit. I like to do that, like so, because it does. I mean, it looks like there's like a rim light right around the edge there. And then kind of going around here, and I think that's pretty much where we're at. I mean, really, if you think about it, that's pretty much where we're going here. We'll just do the same thing over here. Right, so we're kind of going, looking at just the way that this whatever lights over here on this side lights up this side of both of them. So she's sitting up straighter. So I'm going to put like so. Hoine may or may not still be here. We'll have to see. A little bit of that rim light right around the edge there, right? Kind of hit right here. Right around that corner like that. And then just touching around that corner. Just kind of going around that edge right there. Gives just enough of a an edge around the corner of here to give definition. Many people liked Bennett. She was a much funnier character, and she was sort of Cochrane's foil. So I'm glad to have her back in the chair. We're not going to see a lot on the way of highlights across the face here, because the skin tone for Bennett has always been super, super light. So it's kind of hard to see the highlights. It's a little easier, it looks like, to see on the monitor than it is actually here in person. So you guys are getting a little bit easier to see over there. Remember, her hand is folded forward, so there's, we're going to be tilting her hand forward like this, so the light will strike along here, and then it will strike along this flat piece right there. Yep, she was the Riker to Chang's Picard. It was much funnier. She was always sort of, I say was like she's not anymore or something. Yeah. She still is. She's going to be the Riker to Chang's Picard still. It's not changing any. So going into the light also is the front of this thruster, or the backpack of the thruster pack, which turns forward and comes up and then goes back. So this side is going to be more in shadow. And in fact, probably that's what we should register there, is on the other side, is that a little bit of shadow here. All right, kind of head over here and go onto this multiply side. And then we're just going to kind of bring this out a little bit more like so, because it should be more like this, more in this shadow here from this light coming on this side. And we'll make sure we go all the way up to the ridge. And we're going to take and pull back this part right here, because we don't need it to be like that. That's a little over the top. There we go. That gives some darkness to one side of the shadow there. All's good there. Here we go. Now we've got this shadow, though. Should probably take and put in sort of, them. She's definitely on the table here. And then we'll just give a little bit of this along here. And all in there probably should be darker. And going back there. So we have what's called ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion. And that's the tendency for two things when they are together to absorb the light and kind of make it go away to some degree. So when you have sort of two objects that are next to each other like this, you get kind of a bouncing of light that gets shadowier and shadowier as you get closer to the edge. It's called an ambient occlusion. And we just hit that there. Because realistically, she's just going to have a small amount of this ambient occlusion around her elbows. Like so. Right, and that gives us just a feeling of weight. There's something here, something's happening, yada, yada, yada. The table itself, however, needs to be blue. Because the table is not, right? And then we'll make that part black. It's like a news report almost. The reason I did that was so that I can add a new layer and do something with, like this, right? Kind of go over here and hit a nice bright orange and put it right behind them, which looks cool. Just giving some kind of, just something. Although, went right through Chang's mouth. It's because Chang needs to have something in her mouth. That sounds like that's weird. That, it was very much a that's what she said sort of moment. And I get it. But still. I kind of want to do more with this. Because I like it. There we go. Seal of approval from Brent. There we go. And so all this really is we can do something else with that background too. Like we can do this, right? Gives it something not quite technical pin. We'll take the technical pin, do something like this, right? Gives it just a little bit of shadow shading. Something's going on in the background. We got just something. It doesn't have to be, there doesn't have to be a whole lot of detail here. Man. So, okay. However, the one thing that does bother me is this thing here. I do. Because as you all know of me, for reasons that have still escaped me to this day, I know, right? Today, we're a current science they're trying to explain. It's almost like they are desperately trying to, it's a news report. It's totally a news report. That's exactly what this is. Except that I feel like in real life, this is Chang going, is this thing on? Our hearts go out to the people. We're sending thoughts and prayers. So, okay. We need to do that too. So that it's that right there. That's what it needs to be. Sweet. Okay. Thoughts and prayers. All right. What's on layer 4? Whites. Okay, so we need one more layer. Is the biggest camera? Are we not recording yet? What's going on? Somebody please hit the record button. All right. We need to do all of our normal graphics. So that it feels like it belongs to Bellatrix. as we've oft called this now, trade dress, that I can remember the name of because we went so long trying to remember it. There we go. No, if I want your help, I would ask you for it. Nope. Probably be easier to just take the eraser tool and go through the middle of it, like so. And have better control over it anyway. There we go. Okay. And the best part is that I have this big black area down here to write things on. I can bring that up even more like so because we don't need the front of that desk necessarily, but I can write anything I want on the bottom here. And we have pretty much just them able to just say something. So now I can meme. I've made my own meme. Weird. Okay. I like this. You like this. We like this. Everybody likes this. Good. And we're going to Control Shift E it. Delete that. And then we're going to save it. Save as. And we're going to save it in Bellatrix Rising. Illustrations. All right. Meme report. Oh, Aglet? Yeah. Not to be confused with Aggies, which is a football team for Texas A&M, or I guess any team for Texas A&M, for better or for worse. All right, now that we've done that, and that was a fun, if not slightly entertaining, waste of time. And it was okay. We haven't really done a lot of drawing um, Bennett yet. We haven't brought Bennett into the picture just yet, so it's nice to have some quantified Bennett time. She's a character and she's interesting, and so having her in here is good. Let's get to page 5 because we've done Boo Texas. You know what? I am not going to even argue there. Boo Texas. I mean, not really. I like Texas, and then I don't like I have a love-hate relationship with Texas. But frankly, probably not going to spend much time going there anymore. I mean, I really loved my papa, and I loved visiting with him, and I loved hanging out with him. And that's now history. So there's that. Let's take a look at Act 1 in Prologue, Marilyn, and let's see what we've got in the pre-poses set. So we have some work that needs to be done in pre-poses. Right, because now we have some other things going on here. And this looks really, actually, for what it is, remarkably amazing. So we'll add a new raster layer, and I'll put it underneath there because I really kind of need to do that. Yeah, I do my best to stay kind of away from it too. We're going to move all the way over here. This isn't the one I want. This one. There we go. Okay. Shared resources. Oh no, we need to go into the Bellatrix Rising resources. Bellatrix Rising, and then we have backgrounds because we now have this guy. Because we need this. Because we need the wall. Right? This is no, wasn't what I wanted to do. Oh, copy. Paste. Right? Now we have the wall in the background. And I can actually move the wall out a little bit more. Get a lot more kind of. There we go. Backing up the MPV coming in. So we've got to kind of clean up this render quite a bit because we don't have, like, you can't clearly see the kitty wake over here. And we do want to be more clear about this. So let's go on ahead and get some straight lines. Because this isn't a new model. This is an older model. But it still checks out. Okay. See, just can't not say it. This is not the best kitty wake render model. So we'll have to see whether we want to continue to do this or whether we want to take a quick break and go finish the kitty wake main model. Or whether this is a serviceable enough model to operate by itself. I am kind of leaning towards rebuild only because we're going to have to do a lot of work to make this actually up to snuff. And I'm not sure I remember all of the pieces that go with this model anymore. Like where like whether the windows are in the right spot anymore. The question is really, well, she's closer. That's why. And coming into the bay, I mean, because these guys are further away. These guys are probably in line with the kitty wake back here. These two MPVs going out, the outward bound MPVs. But I mean, really, honestly, the Red Dragon is huge. You know, sitting up there, the Red Dragon's massive. So that's a big ship. And that's just a destroyer. So, I mean, you know, she's just sitting in the bay, hanging up there, sitting in the dock of the bay, drinking hires. Okay, maybe not. But yeah, and you're right. The MPV does look huge comparatively. I don't know. It's time to take a 2-minute break. So I'm going to stand up, take a break, and while we're at it, we can discuss a little bit of a thing that I want to discuss, which is the idea or concept that we probably aren't going to. I'll see you in a few minutes. But we need to kind of think about the idea of whether we can actually make this comic roll out the door before Wicked West. And I don't think we can. Which is probably a good thing because we really should finish the Kitty Wake. She's the star of the show. She's a big ship. She should be in scale with everybody else. Yeah, let's go do that. Let's do that. Because then we can re-render this with the Kittiwake actually sitting in there like she's supposed to be, and we can finish the entire scene because we can't have close-up shots right now of the Kittiwake because she's not good. So we can only really do this, and then we're gonna have to have a different model for later on when all the characters walk up to the Kittiwake. Computer cloudy lights. Thank you. Why did you change that light? So we can call this a prototype and say, hey, this looks good. We think we're fine here. But we should at least discuss how big is a destroyer? Because, like, how big are these windows? How big are the destroyer's windows? How big is anybody's windows? What are you people doing? Yeah, I mean, like, this could be another Corvette, but the whole point here, let me go ahead and show you. You're at lunch. Let me go ahead and show you what's in this bay because I went ahead and did a second render looking straight into the bay like this so that we could sort of take a look at what's in here. So we have a freighter in here, and I think that's the Eagle. It's a freighter. Then we have the Red Dragon sitting up here, and she's in this bay. And then we've got the Kittiwake at the bottom of the bay. This is one of the small bays. So this is a little bay. There's a whole bunch of little bays around the outside ring of the Polaris. I'll bring up the Polaris for that too, so we can take a look at that. We have a lot going on. Now it's getting mad. Right, so looking at the Polaris, go ahead and fill all that black so we can see stuff. Ooh, shouldn't do black because there's a lot of black on the Polaris. So let's do a dark blue so that you can see stuff. Right. So when we talk about, and the Polaris is also a model that's not ready, but all along this upper ring right here are these bays, right? Right here. And there's a ton of them, as is obvious by the fact that this is number 44 that we're dealing with. These large bays right here are for the big ships, cruisers, battleships, things like that. These little bays along here are how we carry these guys. So, but either way, it can't hold a whole lot of these little guys, these scouts. But we also, I feel like we're not scaled right. I feel like things aren't scaled correctly. So I feel like I kind of want to. I rushed really quickly to get this bay thing done. The bay is gorgeous. I'm happy with the bay. I don't have any problem with the bay. I just repurposed, I literally repurposed the model of the MPV's interior and just remapped it so that it's a bay. And it looks great. It looks beautiful. We can use that. However, the Red Dragon sitting in the back there, I'm not going to do anything with that freighter because we're not going to use the freighter for anything else ever again. Well, we will, but she's a freighter. So I can just draw her every time we have her on screen. So we'll just use the freighter like that. But I do think the Red Dragon we could probably stop and map a little of and at least get something going on her. So maybe it's a little bit, I mean, because the thing is, Whatever engine nacelle we use here for this, we use up here in a larger version. And we've already made, for the MPVs, we already made a gravity sail or gravity blade. So we just use a large gravity blade for this and two smaller gravity blades here. So we don't need to redo the gravity blades anymore because they're already on the MPV. We can just use them and redress them. So all we need is the gravity wings on the front, which are for propulsion, and those will be the same on the Kittiwake and on the Red Dragon. So that'll be fine. And in fact, this entire hammerhead will be the same for both of them, just a redress. So that won't be a problem. And the secondary body could probably be duplicated as well. Maybe I won't duplicate the secondary body, but I'll redo the secondary body, which means that really we can pretty much make a double header here. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and just fire it up. We don't need this anymore, so we'll go ahead and close you, because that turned out to be fun. It was a fun little distraction, but it wasn't critical. So let's go ahead and get Blender rolled in, and let's take a look at what we've got as far as pieces go. Because I feel like I've already started doing things. But let's talk about engines and the nacelles, because we had a different sort of widget we were making here. So we're going to go back here, and use report, yada, 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 ships Blender files. So where did we last leave our ships? Wow, it's been a while. It has been a while. Okay, here we are. Yeah, so I don't need to do a gravity blade anymore, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay, let's take a look. What do we have? What pieces are mapped? Let's switch back to the monitor so you can see what I'm doing. We're looking over here and seeing what pieces are already mapped and what aren't. All right, so if we go here, we select this guy, he's already got a whole bunch of cutty things going on. I don't even know what's going on here. I think I started to realize, I started to realize how I could do this to make it work. Okay, good, because we've got kind of, like I already see things, like I see landing gear doors already ready. And stuff like that. And I've already built an upper mount, and that upper mount is designed to hold a landing pad on the destroyer. So I'm already cognizant and thinking ahead on this guy. It's already got the docking bay for the I'm just losing my brain here. It's got a docking bay already going for it for the MPV in the back. It sits in the back there. So actually, this hull looks like it's ready to rock and roll. It's got its lowering landing deck. So you know what? Let's go ahead and just make this work. I think we're 90% done, it looks like here. Okay. What I want to know, though, is there are pieces parts that are hanging out all over the place. What the hell is that? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to myself? Okay, let's go ahead and do a few things. First of all, I have learned how to map better. So let's do this better. So we can now do this. We don't need these guys, do we? No, we don't. We do need you. And you. And you. Right? And we caught, just making sure we caught the lower landing deck. We didn't. We caught you instead. We don't need you. Or you. It's all things from the aft sections. So we can do this. Right? And then we can just say, we're not in edit mode. We're in edit mode. Are we in do we need to be in object mode for this? No, we need to be in edit mode. Okay, then why am I not getting the, project from view? And that gives us this, which is the back. I'll come over here real quick. And that landing door is almost a bottom piece, isn't it? Man, it really is. Okay. That's right. We'll get there. And we'll come over here, pull back out over here. A little beep, 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 beep. Just make sure we grab all of the hull from this side. We're just kind of grabbing all of these pieces right here. I think we'll also, you know what? I'm going to just call that whole bay a thing. I might make this ring just one big unit of doom. Okay. I'm going to hit this side like so. And we'll come in here and hit that side too. And we'll hit that. And this should be project from view, right? We'll pull you out to here. And we'll snag the other side. Nope, that's top. Oh. Project from view. And that's this side. We'll pull them down here. Like so. the same thing. We'll project from view. Yeah, let's just go ahead and redesign it. It should be fast. Already the model's built. It just needs to be UV mapped. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, if we don't do the redesign, we're going to have to do something within one page of the comic, because at some point here, the characters are at the kitty wake and they're standing at the landing ramp, and the old model has the landing ramp in the front, and the new model, we decided the landing ramp was in the back with the mecha bay. So we're gonna they're bound to notice a few things. Right. So the theory here is that if we just real quickly, it's not going to be real quick. There's never a real quick, but we're going to go ahead and just do a quick redesign on this, theoretically. Why did you not do this? There we go. Oh, that's very close. So we'll move you right here, move you right here, because you guys are done. Move you right here. And then we will do the front nose piece. It's just really pretty much that. Not a lot. That's in the front. Well, don't move. Just select. Okay. Project from view. I seem to remember we had a lot of rough times with this model, trying to get it squared back away. Right. And I felt like we were having a lot of tough times getting it. And ultimately, we ended up just rebuilding a whole bunch of this model from scratch. The deck plans are based off of this model, though. They're not based off of the other one. So we've got a lot of pieces parts. What are these pieces parts? Since this is a hero ship, I'm a little worried. I know what that is. About pieces parts. We'll go to the left and scroll to the front. And we'll snag all of these guys right here. Oh, man. Heavy in. Okay, so a lot of that's that forward ring. That's fine. It never does what I want it to do whenever I do a cylinder projection. And I don't know why. But it should, but it doesn't. It always does something weird like this. It's always these weird snaky things. I can't get it to align. I can't get it. It's always just easier to just side to side. I don't know. It makes me irritated. Okay. Because I think it's going to be black anyway. So, really kind of not sure I care enough. Okay, let's take a look. What do we got? Snaky thing. Okay, good. Well, snaky thing is snaky thing. And I'll just know that that's that and just leave it like so. Okay, now we've got the rest of the ship is here. Let's get it up onto the board and zoom in. Let's get it aligned. All right. These are pieces parts. We can take all of these pieces here. We can rotate it 180 degrees. No, that's not. Because it actually works better this way. If we put it right like so. Get really tight in there. These guys, however, do need to be rotated. Really? Really rotated, they'll fit better. And you need to rotate 180 degrees and brought forward. Brought forward, yeah. A much cleaner design than before. Says a guy who realizes how he needed to do this the first time and wished kind of did it this way the first time. It's all right. He can't be perfect every time. Well, I mean, I can be perfect, but you know, that's a thing. It's a thing. All right. There we go. Move you to right here. I am somewhat concerned about the fact that there are so many pieces hanging out outside of here. There really shouldn't be, and there are, and I'm not sure what to think about that. There. Bought myself just a small amount of more room. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a test fit of this whole piece. We have to do this before we close Blender, because the sad but true thing is that if we close Blender, the entire thing kind of gets a little wonky. The model gets wonky. So we're going to rather quickly here, we're going to kind of do the whole Blender thing and do all of what we need to do here. Export as a wavefront object. Make sure we click selection only. We're going to come up out of aging, and we're going to go into ship Blender files, and we're going to call this Unity Corvette main hull. Okay. Export the object, and we have to reselect the whole critter because it has to be in object mode for that, but we'll go back to edit mode and it'll be fine. And then we're going to Windows Shift S, and then we'll do this. Go in here, and we really don't need these anymore. Do not save. We really don't need you. Do not save. We don't need you. Do not save. This was interesting, but we don't need you. Do not save. We can close you because that's funny. And then we're going to go to Open, Bellatrix Rising, 3D Sets and Props. Use this template for texture maps, because that's what that is. And we'll say paste. And we'll bring this out to here. I wonder if we're going to have like a Corona season. It's COVID season or whatever. I wonder if that's going to be a thing. I'm not sure where we should be, here or here. I'm going to save this as. I'm going to go into ships, textures. We already have a Kittiwake Maps hull that we've got in there, but I'm not going to use that one because we've remapped it better, I think. But one of the things I'm going to start doing is making a folder for each one of these ships. Unity Corvette. And then inside here, we're going to call this Corvette Seabird Corvette main hull X, because we're not quite ready to do the whole shebang just yet. So we don't need the content library. We might be in Bellatrix ships though. So we're going to close the poses directory because we don't need that right now. Import and 3D props and ships, 2 ships, Blender files, and Unity Corvette main hull. Accept. And you are where? Or are you massive? These are the things that always make me wonder. There we are. We're just offset by a lot. Welcome to DAZ. All right. We're going to take you. We're going to go in here real quick. We're going to do the surfaces check. Diffuse color, browse. Right. I'm going to go to props and ships. Go to ships. Ships textures, Unity Corvette. I want to see how well this fits. One of the problems I can already see is there. So, okay, let's talk about where things are. Everything looks like it's pretty solid. What I really want to know is, what are these guys? So let's go ahead and put in, on top of here, a new raster layer. You. I'm going to make you all red. Like super red. Bright as we can make it. Fire engine red. And I'm going to save as. One. Remember, the thing about DAZ is that once loaded into memory, it can't unload them. So, okay, there's where our problems are. So, problems number 1 is forward end. Looks like the starboard side of that box on top. Those don't exist, so those need to be killed. Okay. And then we have the interior of the shuttle bay in the back, or the MPV bay in the back. All right, so this is where our errors are, but the rest of the model looks solid and watertight. That's just obnoxious. Doesn't actually exist, people. Okay, let's go back to here, because see, those part of this is that those guys don't exist. They aren't there, which is part of the issue we have. So we need to go into the model mode, go into modeling. Work. Go over here to this home. And the first thing we want to do is add a modifier, and we're going to take triangulate. And that's going to just cut up some of these things so that they're not, right? Okay. We'll take, and we can't apply in edit mode. We have to be in object mode to apply. We'll apply. And that should cut all of the weird crossing over Boolean problems. I'm glad I learned this trick. I wish I had learned it when I built this model a while back, because now we're going to have to remap it. That's okay. Okay, The other thing I'm going to do while I'm in here is I'm going to move all these guys over. Like, all this crap, right? I can hit edit mode and then grab this guy and just him and move him back to position 0. He's lined up properly on here. And this probably just made a, so that line to the X and the core line to the middle to the Y. This is the hero's ship, so we want to spend as much time doing this as right as possible, as correctly as we can. The center line there. Click, click, there. Now it should be the center of the model at this moment, which is good because now when we go back into UV editing, this is going to be a mess. Okay. And there are other things missing, like the docking port is not actually in there, I'm noticing. Neither is the side docking doors. Was I just not going to do them? What was my battle plan? What was I thinking, Brent? What was I thinking? There are no docking doors. There's no windows. People are missing. Yeah, look at this. Look at what happened. It fragged it. Oh, it is fragged all over the place. Oh noes. That's all right. I'll make it a cube projection just long enough for me to get in here and just so that they're all in the same spot. Right? All of us Coloradans, we're just opaque to you. Okay. We've got a few things we got to do. First of all, I built these deck plans so that we could see where everything was physically on the actual ship, so that there were ports and pieces that made sense on the model. And now I'm kind of sitting here going, why did I not place them actually on the model? The truth is, though, this deck plan set that I've got over here, that's right over here. If you look at this deck plan set, this guy here, he's got all the proper pieces to him, which show where everything is on the ship, so that it will match. But I made some critical errors on this, I'm noticing. Bork, I'll move you. So. Right, because this becomes the internal workings of the Kittiwake right here. Like the internal setup. Not completely correct. I'm dealing with Legos, I swear. way you can tell is that hole is the transfer holes between decks. Okay. Okay, so knowing that this is the way that the internals sit helps. But it doesn't tell me where the windows are. I don't know what happened to my windows. I had windows. Why are they not here? Okay. Docking ports middle or deck. I don't even know what deck's on. Okay. You need to be moved over and put into the unioned into the. Oh, that's right. That's why we couldn't union it. The Boolean errored. That was where we were when last we met our ship. That was the error. That's right. That's right. So we had to go over and tear apart the hull, which we did, and we completed that in a show. And I remember we tore apart the hull and reassembled it and put it back together again. And we were at UV mapping whenever we decided to redirect and do a different thing. Now I know where we are. Okay. Whew. All right. So Alex has decided that Alex had a dentist appointment. Now it's broadcast. Anyway, Alex's dental appointment has run over. He's asking if we can reschedule for tomorrow. So, and that's all right. It's cloudy, not very warm, and windy. So I'm okay with not walking. Meh. Um, okay, here's what we're going to do. We need to do a couple of things real quick to make this all work. First of all, we need to have a uniform scale that we understand what size things are. Second of all, I think the windows need to be applied to my little deck plan pieces here. And I did it the wrong way. I think I just added them willy nilly to the deck plans, which, why do I do these things to myself? Okay, because of course, with it applied willy nilly to the deck plans, we'll never be able to really accurately get them lined up again with the outer hull, which was the entire point of tearing apart this thing. That was why we did it in the first place. Okay. That was the entire point, was to line the outer hull and the inner hull together so that they made sense. Um, hmm. Brent, I don't know why you're friends with me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, so I'm going to take the outer hull. Well, we're going to take these guys. First, let's do this. All of you guys are all connected. Okay, so if we know where these things were lined up in the first place, okay, we'll start this job and I'll finish it today. I'll just finish it after we clear the show and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll hate myself, but it'll be fine. We're going to the deck plans. And why did I do this to myself? Why? We go into the deck plans. Okay. We can already kind of see some important pieces here. So, we'll deal with you. Maybe not you. Not you. We want you. Yes. Okay, so this is the correct deck planian thing. Can already see where things are. Line that to there. We're not lined up anymore, are we? Nope. That's right. We'll get this figured out. Part of this is that all of the bottom decks had to be moved over so that they would align properly with what was going on the upper decks. So, all right, we got this. We got this. Part of the problem is we need to I hate you. We need to not rush. I rush through things sometimes, and it is a massive error. And this is one of those times where I rushed through this, and I shouldn't have rushed. And it's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so we'll make sure that that's correct. There aren't any windows. You Marines don't get windows. You're not cool enough to have windows. That's not true. You're very cool, but you still have no windows. Either way, though, I want to see where the loading dock falls on the sweep deck so that we can get that kind of figured out. Okay, we'll turn that off. We'll turn off the low ceiling alerts. Well, no, we'll leave the low ceiling alerts on because those actually have all the windows on it. So we'll take that and we'll go in here on this and just fill this whole thing in with that gray so that I don't have to worry about it anymore. So it's not weird. All right. Okay. The pilot house is where things are going to get really ugly. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are from the back of the nose. Let's just count back here. We are 1, 2, 3. Oh, crap. 1, 2. It's really hard to read these things. 1, 2, 3. 4 meters back to the 5th meter. It's pretty easy. That should be a pretty simple fix for that. So we'll go here to the top. Why did you get unaligned? Who's unaligned? Who are you calling unaligned? Sweep deck. Who you calling program? Program? Okay. Forward piece. Right? We're going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5. And then we're going to just make a circle here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get on this guy. I'm going to go into edit mode. Okay. We're just going to make a single circle, a single whatever. We go to modeling. Why didn't I do this before? But okay, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. First things first, let's make sure you're totally aligned to at least something. It doesn't even matter what. Hey, all the decks, please. I'll go ahead and bring you up to, no, because we want nose point at this spot. There we go. I'll move you over. Move you over. Till you are at least lined up. Man, all of these guys are just so screwed up here. Let's get you, at least get you all on the same line. It's a private number who calls at 11 or 10:53. So private number can call me all day long and I'm not answering. Private number. Private number can discuss with my private number secretary or something. I think I'm being clever. It's not you, though. Okay. Let's bring the whole thing in line with something, anything here. In line. There we go. And then it should. More keyframes to jump. Okay, well, it's always nice to know that I'm never going to be able to get this aligned that way. Somebody left a message. Let's see what the message is, just in case. Right? I do not know whether my wife is going to have lunch with us or not. We'll have to see. Unknown. Let's see what it says. This is Ed Perlmutter, your congressman. Oh, hey, look. Mary called about my Marriott Properties Interval International Special Few Important Updates. They're going to offer me a all expense paid, yeah, maybe theoretically lunch with wife. I don't know. She's not sure what she's doing today. So we'll see. We'll see. It's all good. Edit mode. but I can go a little over now because we're not going for a walk. And my wife is not sure what she's going to be able to. She won't even know what she can do until noon. So I have to see what happens now. So I'm going to go a little over if nobody minds. I know you kind of being where you are, but I kind of want to finish this problem. Okay, so next thing's next. Let's add. What am I doing? Where are you? Who are you people? Mesh. Oh, no, it's under add. Add, and we'll add a cylinder. Put it over here. We'll shrink it down. No. And this doesn't have to be anything other than it needs to be 4 back from the front, the nose part. Right? No walk. Well, I mean, Alex is getting his teethed. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's between 4 and 5. So that's here. And so no capes, no walk, no capes. I love capes. I just absolutely adore that particular character. It's one of my favorite characters ever invented. Okay. All right. We have one window. I'm not kidding. It's cloudy, overcast, windy, cold, nasty. It maybe when the wife gets here, if she gets here, I mean, she doesn't know what she's doing at noon. But if she gets here, then maybe the three of us will go on a walk. That might not be a bad idea. But I know that dragging my child out there is going to become creative. Okay, that's one window. We've got one window now. Let's check the side view to make sure that we are somewhat aligned properly, because it'd be nice if we were aligned so that it wasn't sitting in the middle of the actual thing there. There's one window, so we know where the windows are. Now we need to do the other windows. Those are harder. So let's take a look here. Along that front piece, we have a triangular window, which is 1, 2, 3, almost 3 back to the front. So we'll just do that real quick. We'll get that forward. We only have 3 windows, and then I can mimic it to the other side. So that's not a bad deal. But this will also help us figure out what they look like, because we're not sure what they look like. We just drew them on the deck plans. I'm a little bitter with myself for kind of messing this up. I'm just saying. Okay. So we're going to add a cube. Do I really want to add a cube? I guess I kind of do. Meh. I'll add a cube. Okay. Cubes show up there. Then they need to be dragged over here. And then we go through. We do this and we go. Yeah. Like so. And we go. And yeah. Like so. And then we go. Yeah. It has to make that noise. Like so. Because I am so 12. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a look at the deck plans. And what I see here is low ceiling. I'm going to drop that down just a little bit so we can see what we're looking at here. So crosses over the median, forward and back. So it's straight to the back. So we'll do that. And it's this median down here. Yes? Yes. Okay. Whoa. You know what? I'm going to close this because we're not ready to deal with this. We're not ready to deal with that at all. We can't handle the truth. So we'll go straight at that median line. Did I repair those median lines? Because they look different. This looks much cleaner than these. Look how, see how I've got extra lines in here? I have extra pieces in here. Why do I have extra pieces? This looks much cleaner. And first of all, you need to be back here. That means you need to come back to here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So it's the bottom of 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So the bottom of 3. Move you to here, and you're straight. So move you to here. Are you straightforward? That might be a straightforward. No, it's not quite straightforward. It's a little indented, like so. Like so. All right. It just has to be close enough that it doesn't look critically different. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem with the original model of the Kittiwake that we just did, or that we just showed in Bay 44, is that it is radically different. It's totally different than the tech manual. And so we have to rebuild it to some degree because it's totally different. Same reason. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree that we're not changing her hull pieces any massively. I'm just gonna, because this will show a very different dynamic if you think about this, right? Because this is the way this window looks if you're looking at it from here, but you can see that in 3D, this is a very different shape. So we are going to have to do something about the fact that this shape is completely different. Like they can't be like this. Well, work. Nope, you grabbed too many things. You. Meow. Bork. In fact, I'm noticing that it doesn't even match with the hull at all here, which is fine. That's fine. That's fine because they can go down until it does match with the hull, which is exactly as I envisioned it on this front piece. But the other thing that's really good about this, that will be really cool, is that we'll be able to do the pilot house from the inside because we'll now be able to see what the inside of the pilot house looks like, which is another problem we were going to have a problem with. Another issue we were going to have a problem with at some point here. Like we wouldn't be able to see how this looks at all. Come down to here. Come down to here-ish. better. So that's what I think we wanted, is something like this. There we go. And we'll just take these guys here and push them out through the hull. That way we know where this window goes. Probably should have done this view first. Just saying. Okay. This window now exceeds the hull. So that's good because that's exactly what it should look like. And if we were to look at it here, we'd be able to see the window coming through the hull. Perfect. Okay, we've fixed one window. One window is done. Okay, next window. This one is bizarrely shaped because I'm an idiot. No, I'm not an idiot. It'll look cool. That's why. It'll look cool. That's the whole point. Okay. We'll just add another cube. And I'll take you and move you over to here. And we now know, I mean, we really do know that this guy's shaped kind of, that's nice. Good job. Do something like so, and like so, no, so, and then like so, and like so. And actually, the truth is, I really liked the design that we came up with. So, I'm not actually that offended by the weird designs here. They look cool, and they do, and that's fine. So we'll do this, and this, and this. To show? Close. Crosses this mid line, but I gotta make sure that it comes out. So that this structure matches. And it comes down to about the same point on the floor. When we look at the floor of the pilot house, we want to make sure that these windows are all uniform along the bottom of the floor and not like weirdly shaped or whatever. So we'll go to here, and we'll take all of you guys and bring you all down to this point. And then we'll bring all of you guys up to that point. That's not what I want to do, but that's all right. That's all right. We're good. We're good. I want to bring all of these guys like this. That's really what I want to do. Because it's sort of where it exits out of the hull up there. Now we can take this, because that window is not exiting out of the hull yet. Kind of go here. Ish. 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 Yes. And take you and go all the way down. You just have to think this out and go all the way down. And you guys then should be aligned to the windows next to it. So here to this point in the hull and this point in the hull. Which actually reminds me, you can be raised up, and then you can be raised up because you should be whatever one square is above the hull. And I'll bring you down to 1 square above the hull. Maybe not. But we can at least pretend and then move you out. All the way down. Move you out. I feel like I didn't do this right. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's what undo is about. Aw. Go back to the top view. And let's look at this guy again. Okay, here, 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 here. These guys and these guys need to be matched to the hull. Right. Okay, that's what we needed to do. This way. These guys are easy because we know that they're right next to these guys. So we're bring that down to, here. These guys not so much because they're not down to the hull. So they just need to be lined up until they match ish. Like so. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's the way we wanted it. Okay. Ugh. Model making. Ugh. All right. In. And then you guys can all move out. And that's how this works. It should go straight up out of the hull. There, like so. And then when we're looking straight at the window, it should be aligned like so. So that it is removing itself directly. There. Wow. What a mangled mess I have made. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're all fine here now. How are you? Okay. Yeah, the wind is just unpleasant. Okay, that's window 2 for better or for worse. Can't seem to get it to line up straight. Save my life, can I? Okay, window 2. I'm really glad we did this because if you look here at this window and then look here at that window, they are 2 completely different shaped windows. They are radically different. They're not even the same. So this is really actually useful and good because they're not going to look the same. I would have drawn them different on the hull of the ship and they wouldn't have looked right. So, and then it would have driven me crazy because I wouldn't have known what I did wrong and it would have bothered me forever. And then I would have, probably just cried. That's exactly what would happen. I would have cried. I just, I knew what's wrong. And, I started the simpering, and then there had been and you guys would have just left. And I wouldn't have blamed you. You just wandered away. I don't know what his problem was. Okay. This is driving me crazy. Can't get this window to line up because it's now off axis, so I can't get it to line up. Ah. There we go. Better-ish. Good enough. Okay. Stop fussing with the windows. Okay. Last window. That last one is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 to it. Same as the last one. They're probably not actually 4-sided windows. There. Let's get one more. Add a cube. Move it over. And we will do this guy the same way. So we know that this is angled like so. And this window goes out as far as it can to that structure point right here. And it's shaped in like so. And sort of following this logic line along the top here. It's following that line. But it's also got to make this post here. So we've got to make sure that it aligns properly to make this interior structure post. So we want kind of a triangle forming here in the hull, right? I am somewhat stuck foresty, treesy. I'm feeling treesy, foresty. I don't know, something. That's all right. We're getting there. And it does need to be done for the comic, especially since looking at it, I'm very much concerned that I would have done this the wrong way. And I would have been very frustrated by it. It would have been extraordinarily frustrating. I would have been like, ugh, why did I do this to myself? Okay. You need to come down to the hull here. Okay, now we need to just make sure that all the pieces match. They don't, of course. But I could probably align to there. This feels fraught with peril. All of them are correct here. It can only go straight down. That's the rules. Only blue. Only blue. The reason I said that only blue is because I don't want getting off track again. Brent calls. My wife calls. Brent, some guy named Brent is calling and saying you're off track. Suggests that I kill you. totally see that happening too. She would, and she would side with you. Naturally, she would side with you, which means that bring this up. Okay. Do this and then this. That and that. Okay. The window is bent. Like my sanity. Okay. To green. There. Swift kick in the backside. Sometimes, these things need to happen. All right. I'm going to pull this back to the hull like so, just so that whenever we're here, we can see that that's what the window is doing. Like so. Same thing with you. I'm going to pull you back to the hull. And you. Pull you back to the hull. And then pull you back to the hull. And now I feel like we've got the windows in the front of the hull just fine. Pull you to the back of the hull too. There. Okay. And what we're doing here is making sure they look good. There we go. We have the front windows that will be living in the universe of this forward beak, if you will. We've got the top window out of the top of the pilot house. Okay, now what we need is just to duplicate this. It'll be easy. Do not jinx it by saying quote unquote easy, because then it's just going to be all messy from that point forward. Okay, there's the windows. We will copy and then we will paste. Can't I just get new? Oh, yeah. You guys. That's not you guys. How do I get new ones? Maybe I can just mirror it. Mirror. Oh, but that mirrored the whole hall. I wonder if I care. You know what? Let's not do this yet. Let's get the other. Let's take that mirror out. We now know we've got that half of the hull. It's working just fine. Let's go down this side and find all the windows that are on that side of the ship. Because there are now windows on the quarterdeck. Right, so if we look for all of the windows on the quarterdeck, which are not in fact on the low ceiling thing, reports of its death are greatly expanded. So we need to make sure that we have this window right here marked. That's a window. There's no windows back there. And there is a docking window here. Right. But there's a lifeboat there. Doesn't need anything. It's a lifeboat. Should we mark the lifeboats? We probably should mark the lifeboats. That way we'll know where they are relative to the rest of the ship. All we need to do is just put handles on the side for the lifeboats, and they'll be fine so we know where they are. Because they are going to be on the outer hull of the ship. They're one deck wide. So we'll mark them here and here. There's another lifeboat here. And these are 2 lifeboat stations back to back. Get all 48 crew members off. We actually get quite a few more than 48. Mark here. We'll mark here. We'll mark here. And go into the forward. Make sure we mark the VIP quarters window. And then a lifeboat station right here. Okay, stations are marked. There is a porthole on the starboard side, or the port side but there's no dock. It makes sense. All right. Moving back aft from this fore section, we have at 10:20, we're at 29 and 30th meters. So we'll go to the top. 10:20. That's easy. This is an easy one because it's right behind this portal. Or this docking port. It's right behind the docking port at the 30th meter. So it's these 2 right here. And we need to make a window that works. So let's go ahead and add a cube. Bring it over here to almost the 30th meter. To there. This isn't the way this works. Okay, let's do it this way. Add. I'm going to add a circle. No, we're not. Why did I do that? Add a cylinder. A cylinder. Take the cylinder and move them over here. Because easiest way to do these portals is to take and just select the bottom half of it and then draw it out like that, right? Because that gives us effectively a portal, a porthole, portability, portobello. It's not a porthole. Just don't mind me. Issues. Okay, moving right along. We're going to come over here because this is going to be the same whenever we go the other direction. We're just going to duplicate this. Except we can't, can we? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into object mode. Screw this. I'm tired of being weird. So we're going to add a mesh. And this time we're going to add a cylinder. We're going to bring the cylinder over here. And we're just going to Boolean it in. This is only for the maps. So I don't even know why I'm going I mean, it's not for the maps, but it's these structures over here are not going to ever be used in a external port at all, ever. We're not going to bring them into Daz Studio. We're not going to do anything of that sort. So all we're really doing here is trying to make the ship match. Okay. In this instance, it is now the correct width. And now we'll make it the correct height. And then we'll make it the correct depth. And it can live right there. And that's exactly how you see whether somebody is trying to dock with your ship, or whether the docking ring is correct, or whether the docking ring screwed up. Which reminds me, having a docking ring on here and on the model will help us immensely, because we'll be able to see where we want all of these. We'll be able to see on the model where everything goes. But also, when we put the Kittiwake, this new Kittiwake, in Bay 44, she should have a jetway connected to this docking port, because she's docked. So that's going to change her physical position in Bay 44. She's going to have to be nose out on the starboard side of 40. Wait, there's no starboard side of 44. On the right side of 44. Because that way she can have a jetway connected to the wall. This is also where all the utility lines go. They also go to the Orlop deck, which that's another thing that we kind of need to figure out somewhere along the line. Anyway, so that works. Okay, cool. We're getting there. Top U, we're just going to go into object mode and say copy and paste. And use U as the next window. You are the next window. Because now we've already established height to some degree. Right, because now these guys can be just 90 degrees this way. And that gives me sort of a where you belong on the hull, relatively speaking, is there, close to the ceiling of the hull. And now all I got to do is establish the width, and it will fit fine, and it will look like it's supposed to fit. Which actually will work really well. Why are they both selected? Just go to object mode. Just you. Edit mode. Thank you. How long do we decide they were? Moving back from here. 3 meters. Actually, I think that's, I remember saying, I'm going to make them 3 meters. So that seems to fit. We'll make this 3 meters. Oh. Right. There's 2, and there's 3. All right. Windows are now standard sized. That's nice. Right? That's a standard window. Standard window. Window standard. Okay. Select all. The next window then is after. And it is not in the standard space. Does not surprise me. I'm not sure why. I think I'd be surprised. 10, 20, 30, 40 in the middle of the 50 line. Starts at 50 or 49. Goes back there. So let's go to here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Starts there. Out to here. Center her on the hull. Determined to make this complicated. There. Now, object mode. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Starting at 49. Going to this part of the hull. Pivot. Put her into the hull. And then we'll check the position. Looks solid. She's going to have to be extended though. Maybe. Let's see. Probably there. All right. So there's the positioning for the VIP window. Good. Okay. Any other windows on this deck? Because I don't think there are. No. All we have is our lifeboats on this deck. So, lifeboats are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meters long. Should be easy. We just make a thing called 6 meters long, and it's a box. So we will just add a 6 meter long box. We'll unselect that and say add mesh cube. Bring you over. Edit mode. We need you to be 6 meters long. The song is just 6 meters long. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meters. This is a lifeboat bay. So I'll move it so that there we go. Now go to object mode and bring it in just in front of you. Right? So it is not quite a meter from that. So we'll rotate it so that it's in the correct position. It's aligned properly. And then we can move it up just a hair because it's not quite a meter in, but it should be lined up pretty good. Like so. And that will give us a lifeboat bay. It's super huge. Okay, into here. We'll say edit mode. We'll bring that down to the deck. And bring this up to the deck. There we go. All right. We have a lifeboat bay. It should be all the way down to the bottom of the deck. There we go. Okay. You know, if I was smart, and sometimes this is questionable, I'd make all of these objects one object, but not connected to the deck. And then duplicate it and push it to the deck. That's all right. We're coming up with stuff. This is going to be my 3-hour long show. 3-hour long. My 3-hour long. That's a big if. It's true. Because, like, totally, if I was smart, I would have done that. But I didn't. So let's go ahead and do this. Just make it match the hull. All right. We have how many more? 2 more lifeboat stations going after. This one is 1 meter, 1.25 meters back. So we'll go to the top. And just align this guy a little bit more. There. Go to the top. Go back into object mode. He's just back here, just to there. And then we'll do paste one more time. And he is right here. And they fit real nice, don't they? Just in front of that wing. All right. Taking a look here, we've got our lifeboat stations on either side of the only window on that deck. It's not a problem. All right. We need to go up one more deck. We've done this deck. There's nothing else on this deck that sticks out or protrudes, so that's not bad. Everything else in the back part of the quarter deck is batteries and water tanks and water reclamation, dry matter storage. So we don't have to worry about that. We move up to the gun deck, and we've got another one that's almost on top of this window. Which actually, this is why I wanted to do this, was because I feel like there were weird things, like they were weirdly aligned or not aligned, so they'd be like this. They wouldn't aesthetically look pleasing. So this is probably a good thing to do. Okay, so we're going to move up. There's a window in the CMO's office, and on the other side over here, which is the medical supply room, biology department things. So we're going to move up to the gun deck and see what we've got here. So moving up to the gun deck, that's the next deck up. We're going to duplicate this guy, move him up a deck so that he's lined up on the gun deck. There we go. Because this is the medical officer's window. We're going to move it to here. We're going to move into the gun deck. And now we're going to back up until we can see where we are on this deck. This window, then, from the front of the ship, that line right there, is 10, 20, 30, It's 38-ish. So 38 to, so there, that works, whatever. So from the front, 10, 20, 30. Oh, good, it's back. So here-ish. Nice. Nice. Okay. Not bad, because I was wondering where it would look relative to this guy, and that's not aesthetically nasty or anything like that. But I also think this is going to be a square, or I mean, not a square, but a round portal. So we'll bring it back up to here. This guy has to be human height because you want to be able to see as much as you can on the docking ring. But this one can be just a round portal. All right, so moving to here, we're going to just take you and clearly not select all of you. There we go. And we're just going to put you. Man, making my life miserable here. Okay, push that back into the hull, and that should be enough. We don't need any more than that. But it does need to come down slightly because it's too high, which is fine. We can do that. Really? Because there's apparently some altitude difference between there and there. So there we go. All right. Doctor's office, CMO's office. Ish. Wow, look at that. Weird cross panel there. I don't even know what that panel's doing. I don't even think that panel knows what that panel's doing. That's right. I don't need it to be anything other than that. Oh, okay, there are lifeboats up on that floor, or on that deck, on that floor. Close that? Or no, we can't. Okay, fine. Can't close it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. You notice that there's like no windows really up here in medical. It's all supplies and stuff like that. So it's like, nothing really in there. Move back. Just after the curve, we have a line. And then at the first meter back, we have a lifeboat. The good news is we've already built all the crap for this thing, so we're good. Object mode. Goop. Grab you. And we copy. We paste. Up until you are in the lifeboat station, where you should be. Right there. And then we go to the top. Luckily, all the lifeboat stations are in their correct whatever. And it doesn't really matter whether these guys look weird or not. It really just doesn't. So, I rotate you so you match the hull. It's just after the turn there is a lifeboat station, so that works. Yeah, the wind is nasty. Okay, so that lifeboat station doesn't really matter whether it lines up or not because it's just going to be a square on the hull that says emergency lifeboat, don't paint or whatever. So there's no need to worry. Always says something like don't paint. Don't paint. People paint stuff. Shouldn't be painting that. Don't paint it. Oh God. Okay, there's a window. So that's 1 meter back from the. It really starts at 1 meter back. So let's just double check to make sure it lines up correctly because we don't want to redo we do not want to have to redo the deck plans. So it isn't actually lined up correctly. So now it's lined up correctly. There we go. Okay, grab this window here in object mode, and we'll copy and we'll paste it. And this is the window that is right up here somewhere. So we'll find out where this window is next and hope that it's aesthetically pleasing, because it is back here on the cosmology laboratory. So it's at the line, this line. It may not be aesthetically pleasing. We'll have to see. This may be the first time where I'm like, hey, why did I do that? Okay. Move it back to this hull piece here. And it's at this line, so it looks a little forwardy. Maybe sort of like this. Maybe. And we'll see what happens here. You know what? It's not bad. It's really not bad. Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah, that won't be bad. That won't be bad. Okay, we're good. There we go. Okay. Got about 5 more minutes or so, and then I really will get going. Hit the S button real quick. What's interesting is, as we start constructing it, we're seeing greebles show up on the outside hull of the ship in a logical place, like where they're supposed to be. You know, the greebles are kind of correct. And that's kind of nice. Why did you? I don't even want to know. Well, that was bad. Don't ever do that again. Oh, I see. Right. That's the thought, is that the other part of this is that, oh, God. The other part of this is that we're going to be able to, there, vertices, just get rid of that. We'll be able to print it, and that'll help. Like, the lifeboat stations will pop out a little bit on the hull all the way down, because you'll be able to see those lifeboat stations. The windows will be correctly positioned on there. I actually probably will make it a Boolean. So we'll invert them so that these will all be actual cuts into the hull instead of cuts out of the hull. So the window will be indented slightly. The lifeboat ports will be indented slightly in the hull. So that's what I'm thinking too, is that will work. Okay. What else is on this deck? This is above the wing, but really there's nothing back here to see anything. I mean, these are large laboratory rooms and stuff like that, which don't really need windows. This isn't a passenger cruiser. So, I mean, it's not like you need windows. You guys don't really need windows. Okay, moving up one deck then. I think you could probably stand to be higher though. To here. There. Yeah, that's probably better. Like so. But the other thing is, think about the other part of this that will work really well. And that is, if you take, now I can have Alex standing in this window waving or whatever as the ship leaves. It's the correct position of the character. She's in the right place of the ship. Stuff like that. It'll feel right. You'll know she's in VIP quarters 1. You know, you'll also be able to see the indentions for all of the. Also, if I ever have an emergency where we come up on a Corvette that has, ejected all of her lifeboats, we now know exactly where her lifeboats will be. There'll be holes here. All those lifeboats will be launched. So, moving up a deck. We're onto the bridge deck. Bridge deck has some windows on it, but they're not marked on the low ceiling marker like they should be. But they're not. Because I know Captain's Quarters has a window, a portal here and here. And there's just a random hallway window there and a window in the after conference room. So those are important. Any other windows in the bridge deck? No, not until you get into the forward observation spot. And the Orlop deck doesn't have anything. It's an Orlop deck. Just put stuff on it. Crap. It'll have doors back here. Why is there? There is. Okay, there's a lifeboat station, but it's on one side. That's weird. Okay, so we only have a lifeboat station on this side of the hull. Because it only needs to carry, there's not that many people up on the forward deck. And nobody's on the Orlop deck unless you need to be on the Orlop deck. And the other thing we need to remember is if you are caught in explosive decompression, the odds are good you're going to be dead. Or you either die instantly or you seal your suit up and you're space worthy for about 2 hours. So you should be able to crawl or move or something and get to a lifeboat. So if you're mobile, you can get to a lifeboat anywhere in the ship, provided the ship hasn't been cut in two or something like that. So, but I mean, really, it gets to a point where it's like, we can't put enough lifeboats everywhere. You know, we can only do so much, but the lifeboats are supposed to keep you with food and water for weeks so that you can get to that, to some point where it's like that. Okay, this portal is the one we want because it's going to be the one we're going to duplicate. Because that's after. It's an after section on this one. We're gonna copy and paste it and move it up one deck. I am not really telling you so much as just clarifying in my head so that I know what I'm talking about. Move that all the way to the aft. The captain's quarters. Okay. From here, that is literally 1 meter from that line. So go to the top view. We go back. We bring it into 1 meter from that line. We push it in until it's in the actual hull. There we go. Okay. There were no other windows back there. Correct? Correct. Just that. Okay. Go deploy more computer monitors to people, Brent. I will see you later. I'll see you tomorrow. We should have had this done, but it's 12 o'clock, so I'm out. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. For those of you guys that joined me, and I will see you all tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, all that stuff, and everything and whatever. And until then, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye.
computer. Good night.